After a lackluster preseason, Brock, I want answers from the Arizona Cardinals.
And we're going to continue to be gross little boys and slum it with the backup quarterback position talk. It's all coming up right now. PHNX Cardinals.
Hey, welcome in. It's the PHNX Cardinals podcast, live from Studio K, presented by our friends at Circle K, your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast. Like and subscribe. Leave us a 5-star wherever you get your programming. This fine program today is brought to you by our friends at Bet365. Download the Bet365 app. Use the bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Choose your offer and find out why it's never ordinary at Bet365. This is an ordinary boy here on this show. I'm Johnny Venerable, joined as always, Brack in Studio K, Damon, Dawg, producer extraordinaire behind the mic. We're talking all things Arizona Cardinals. Cut down, to 53.
Yeah, Doc XD saying, let's get 50 lights right out of the game. I agree. Ozzy, what's going on? K2, Bird Gang, or Big Bird 92. Jess, Jonathan, Red Sea, Jack, Lou, Shaft. Everybody's here. Everybody probably needed a nice long shower after yesterday's post-game podcast, talking a lot of QB2. And I think we're all refreshed and ready to see what the initial 53 looks like. And we'll have that information less than 24 hours from today. But we got a lot of great stuff to talk about today as well.
We do. We're dirty boys. So, take a shower yesterday, maybe take another one today. We're getting, let's say, mucky at the bottom of the Cardinals roster here as they continue to churn. You reported, before the show today, I don't want to call it like with respect to the guys that were cut, but the Cardinals did release upwards of 6 players that we know about. None of them notable household names, none of them that we expected would vie for the Arizona Cardinals 53-man rosters, but they're still NFL players nonetheless. Yeah. And other teams around the NFL, a la like Denver with Tim Patrick, there are significant cuts being made as of today.
Yeah, and Denver also reportedly shopping their running back, and it starts to show you like, hey, there's probably a handful of teams that are going to try to look to make something out of player that they don't have a spot for. So it kind of makes the market a little murkier, right? So, but the Arizona Cardinals officially have released 6 players. If you're playing along at home, wide receiver Dalen Baldwin, outside linebacker Chris Garrett, cornerback Delonte Hood. All 3 of those guys were late additions. So they had a tough, it was an uphill climb already. And then some guys who've been on this roster for a little bit. Safety Verone McKinley, Michael Ujamudia, the defensive back, and then tackle Austin Pleasance. So if you fill that a bracket, it's likely still perfect with those moves. Those are probably ones that everybody was anticipating.
Yeah. And again, you're going to hear names over the course of the next 12 to 24 hours publicly, because this is how teams, if they leak, so-and-so might be released tomorrow. That's how you get another team to jump in and say, hey, we'll give you a ham sandwich for that player. Respectfully, we'll give you a 7th round pick. News broke right before our show. If you were looking at the backup quarterback market like we are, Malik Willis, formerly of Ossenfort's prior franchise in Tennessee, they shipped out, I think he was once upon a time a 3rd or a 4th rounder. The 7th round pick goes to Tennessee. Malik Willis now heads to Green Bay to be Jordan Love's presumed backup. They were one of the teams that we highlighted on yesterday's show that didn't have a great backup situation. So they go out and get Malik Willis. Will the Ossenfort Arizona Cardinals, will they make a move at the backup quarterback spot?
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we did get insight from Jonathan Gannon today, at least for Desmond Ridder. He's out of concussion protocol. So he is free to be released if that happens. And he's free to return to the practice field. That also happens. So the options are open now for Desmond Ridder after his 3-game performance in the preseason. Same thing goes for Clayton Tune. But it was a conversation that we had. Also, Aaron Wilson, very reliable NFL reporter out of Houston, reporting that the Cardinals also waived another late addition, TJ Carter, a defensive lineman, outside linebacker. Just too late, got to camp too late, was a camp body really at the end of it. And, with Zay Jones on the suspended list, your roster, you're getting down somewhere about 85, 84. So you've got about 30 more cuts to make.
And again, they're combing through not only their roster, but other teams' roster, final preseason tape. And they did a lot of guys, I think, some favors on Sunday's matchup, as tough as that game was to watch, showcasing players that are hoped to be picked up on other teams' practice squads, maybe the bottom tier of somebody else's roster. But we expect a flurry of moves, cuts, because that's what we've been conditioned to expect from one Monti Ossenfort. It was a year ago on Saturday. I'm 2 days late with the anniversary of what was emphatically the busiest day outside of a draft for Monti Ossenfort, and maybe outside of free agency, the start of, when Ossenfort went to work. Right? We hadn't had one notable, let's just call it, acquisition of the offseason. From March outside of the draft through last preseason, Bo and I were sitting here every day. Hey, give us an emergency pod. Let's talk about some transactions. Ossenfort, that waited for, I believe it was August 24th of last year, to make not one, not two, but 3 trades for the Arizona Cardinals. Damon, Dawg, let's see what those trades were. Just to recap here, and not ham sandwiches by any means. Maybe the return for some of these guys, but shipping out household names for Cardinal fans: Isaiah Simmons and Josh Jones. And I think that was even before like noon o'clock here, Bo.
Yeah, noon o'clock. It was a big time here. I think he had waited until you officially announced you were going on staycation. You were going to be off the grid, because you were
I'll never take my wife anywhere ever again now.
You were off the grid, right? And we sucked you back in, especially to get because Simmons happened first. It was in the morning.
Yeah.
I called, I had texted Johnny. Like, I'm sure you picked up your phone to just be just a barrage of notifications. Isaiah Simmons shipped to the Giants for a 7th round pick. And, I'm still, the Giants fans were telling us how they won that trade. They got a steal here. They were going to unlock Isaiah Simmons, who ended up, signing, I think, a vet minimum deal this offseason. So I don't know. We'll have to check back, get a status update on that. Josh Jones was traded to the Texans for a 5th round pick. It was apparent that, he was going into a free agent season. He also, his value was going to be potentially swing tackle. And I think Kelvin Beachum had won that job. So they traded Jones for a pick and then flipped it. And then they got their starting quarterback for, the interim, the bridge basically to Kyler Murray and Joshua Dobbs, even though it was such a late acquisition just 2 weeks before the start of the regular season. So yeah, a flurry of moves, and really kind of started to really transform this and started to put his mark on this organization with these moves.
Yeah, I think back specifically to the Dobbs acquisition because it was the most impactful. The Cardinals wanted more assets. That's why they traded away Josh Jones. They didn't see a path forward with him. Simmons was addition by subtraction. Anybody with the regime would tell you that. Respectfully, he was not a good fit for what Gannon and Ossenfort were building, and that was football high IQ culture players. So you subtract him. The Dobbs situation was, we have to save this quarterback room the best we can. And people can roll their eyes because they only win like 1 or 2 games with Joshua Dobbs, 1 game against Dallas, but he made them at least watchable and viable for the Arizona Cardinals. The Arizona Cardinals were on the fast track without Joshua Dobbs to have 0 wins before Kyler Murray returned and be much less competent for their, young players like a Trey McBride and Michael Wilson. Like, people forget, like, those players needed to grow and develop, and they did that in part with Joshua Dobbs. And that's what we would always echo on the show, is like, you gotta help this thing keep going, even if your end goal is to not be competitive. So again, we say all that, we bring that up. What does Ossenfort have on the docket this year in 2024? He made a trade earlier this offseason to acquire Desmond Ridder. I'll pose this question to you, Bo. with the likelihood that Ritter is going to be cut within the next 24 hours, which we expect, right? We expect the Cardinals to do that. Do you think there would be any hesitation then to admit fault and go out and acquire another quarterback? Now, you didn't necessarily have to give up a draft pick for Desmond Ritter. It was Rondell Moore, and unfortunately, he was injured with Atlanta. But do you think Ossenfort and his higher-ups are thinking to themselves, like, we took our shot at trading for a guy. I don't know if we're going to roll the dice again here right before the regular season.
Yeah, I mean, it would look similar to the Dobbs deal, right? Where you look at a conditional 6th or 7th round pick. I don't think he has as opposed to that. It's not, we're not talking day 2 picks here. So for somebody that, you hope doesn't see the field at all. But do they want to secure maybe a Snoop Huntley potentially? Somebody who, when we talk about needing and requiring some sort of familiarity with the system, Stefanski, Petzing, very similar, right? Petzing comes from the Stefanski coaching tree, was in Cleveland for a while, was the quarterback coach before becoming the Arizona Cardinals OC. Do they see value in upgrading their backup position and being able to fast track somebody to be in a position to come in and play? Kyler Murray can't. I think that's a potential, right?
Yeah.
But as far as giving up anything of like true value, right? And like, I don't think that is going to the going rate right now, based off of what we saw with the Willis deal, former 3rd rounder that was flipped for a 7th rounder. So I think that he can be aggressive, but like, it's relative, right? It's going to be relative to what the market's going to cost you. And I don't think it's going to cost you that much. If anything, like, could you just scoop somebody up as they go through waivers?
People are speculating Tyler Huntley here in the chat. I want to talk about that here in a second, but everybody drop a like. Let's get this video to 500 likes on a Football Monday here with PHNX Cardinals.
You're crazy. No
we
way.
Deserve it. You deserve it. We deserve it. Damn it. And I'm fired up.
As easy as it is, I don't see people just hitting that like button. 500 is crazy, man. I don't think this group could do it.
Don't doubt the best fans, the best community in the NFL right now. PHNX Cardinals, hit that like, hold that line for MHJ. Let's talk Tyler Huntley. So he was the 2nd highest rated player over the weekend for the Cleveland Browns. They have DTR, your boy. They've got Tyler Huntley. They've got Jameis Winston, who is presumed to be the backup. And then, of course, Deshaun Watson and all his infamy there in Cleveland, which, depending on who you talk to, his health may be up in the air. The Browns, it sounds like people we talk to behind the scenes are going to keep 3 quarterbacks. They're not going to keep 4. So it really comes to, decide one of 2 things. Is Tyler Huntley truly available? And are the Arizona Cardinals intrigued with Tyler Huntley enough to be their backup? I think he checks all the boxes, hypothetically, that Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon and Drew Petzing would want.
Yeah.
He's got the makeup of a Cleveland quarterback, which they've already shown they would do a deal with this front office, the familiarity there, right? He can move. He's got mobility. He's got a strong enough arm, a la Joshua Dobbs last year. And I think the most important aspect is
Pro Bowler.
He has started. I mean, yeah, you can throw that on there. I love that. He has started games in the NFL previously. Right. Now, he had to keep a ship afloat and didn't, do the best job of that a couple of years ago when Lamar was out. But something that Clayton Tune does not have, which is why they went out and got Desmond Ritter, who has been bad. Don't get it twisted. He's not been good. They need somebody who has started games in the NFL to be the backup for Kyler Murray. So my question for you is, do you think that there is sincere interest in Tyler Huntley if he's available? And what would you be willing to give up for the Browns backup?
But I mean, we're talking about QB3 for him. Because as you mentioned, James,
don't do that again. You did that on yesterday's show. QB3 for the Cardinals or for the Browns?
For the Browns.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Man,
I thought you were talking about the Cardinals.
He's quick.
I thought you were saying he was going to come in. Damon, I thought he was doing his Tune thing where he said Clayton Tune's better than
doing it all day long, Johnny. He's been doing it all day long here at PHNX HQ.
Then I should be on notice.
No, I get it. I would have been on edge too because he walked in the door this morning, Johnny, and I'm getting D-back set up for, big interview. Archie Bradley's on again today. And Bo comes up to me, whispers in my ear, and he goes, I can't believe you guys with this Tune stuff. I mean, it's all he's been talking about the entire day.
That's embarrassing, Bo.
Do you think he listened back to yesterday's pod and
I I hope so.
My ears are bleeding. I actually, before the show, was listening to Johnny throw off some of the names yesterday, and I threw up in my mouth. I did. I had to find a nearby wastebasket and spit into it. It was disgusting. The things I heard come out of my co-host's mouth. But look, I'll digress. And look, when you're Monti Ossenfort, you're talking to the Cleveland Browns, and like they can't paint the picture that Tyler Huntley is going to play a pivotal role for them. So it's like, look, it's your QB3, and they can say he's going to go and serve the role as your backup. I still think it's going to be a late draft pick that they could command for a guy like Huntley.
I think after Malik Willis, who still on a rookie deal, but has not accomplished, I would say, as much as Tyler Huntley, and has not, frankly, looked as good. I think Tyler Huntley you'd probably have to give up a 6th-round pick next year, and that's not nothing for Ossenfort, who only I think just has his chalk picks entering the 2025 draft. But let's get to some of these super chats here because they're already on fire. Drop a like on this video. Doc XD, friend of the program, 199. Thank you guys for saving me of the boredom at work. Well, we appreciate you listening to us while at work. You'll have to let us know in the chat what you do and why it's so boring, but we do our best despite Bo's takes on Clayton Tune.
What our guy? Yeah, thank you, Doc XD. It's our privilege to get rid of that boredom at work.
Yes.
How about our guy Potato Bread, $4.99. Clayton Tune, 3rd string or practice squad. Goodbye, Desmond Ridder. Who should the Cards bring and trade for QB2 spot? And we're talking about it. Huntley, I think, fits that. I think that's a good option. Maybe we can start to look at some other ones. We brought up Mike White, who I think would be a decent option, and you could get him for nothing. He's going to be available. He's going to be released. So the list is starting to materialize, but it's like these guys are available for a reason, right? So, one organization's trash. Could it be the Cardinals' gold? Like the key thing is here, like they've tried that, and we've seen it in Ritter's case, it not work. So it's not like they are, Petsing and Israel Wolfork, and it's asking him for a lot. Here's some chicken crap, turn it into chicken salad, right? They're not like, I think they're good coaches, but are they able to be those quarterback whisperers for not talented players, for guys that it's never going to work? And that's the tough thing to decipher. And I think that's what they just went through with Ridder. They went with it the previous training camp and preseason, and it's been a position outside of like Kyler Murray and flashes of Josh Dobbs, and you haven't seen a whole lot of success from that position.
Do you think there's any reality in which they keep Ridder and then just say, you know what, we made an investment this offseason, we brought him in, we traded for him, and by hook or by crook, we feel like let's give him more time with our organization. Let's give him, an opportunity to run our scout team during practice. Is there any reality in which he makes this team?
Yeah, I don't think so. I'd be surprised. I would be surprised. It would be a surprise move in our non-move for between now and tomorrow.
What do you think his undoing is? Just not being effective in the preseason? Yeah. Is it a combination? Okay.
No, in training camp, in joint practices, like he just didn't put out good tape. Just wasn't there. But if they want to say, hey, this is a resume, and there's flashes on tape that they've seen that they believe in, and there's a sense of conviction that, and it's good. It's a good thing that the organization has that isn't shared by everybody. And as long as, like, if they believe in them, then that's fine. But I'd be hard pressed to think that they can find what they feel is somebody that they can mold and get to a spot where they feel comfortable him coming in the game and backing up Kyler Murray.
I think even though Desmond Ridder was the backup the last 2 games, I'll put a hot take out there. I think there's a better chance that Desmond Ridder is QB2 to start the year over Clayton Tune. I feel like it's either going to be Desmond Ridder at this point because they're like, wow, we literally can't find anybody else with starting experience, and I believe they want that, or it's going to be another veteran. Like I could definitely, and they could just continue to say, we're going to work with Clayton Tune. He's a project. We're going to keep him on and off the roster, emergency quarterback. But with Clayton, there's too many mistakes. The interception yesterday.
What are you talking about? He had one interception in the preseason.
It was a pick 6, and you were like, "Well, he wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared. That's a backup."
It was Ritter's half. He just played the entire first half. He played mistake free.
Well, he led the team to their lone touchdown drive. I'm trying to play devil's advocate here.
Yeah, I don't need you to do that. Okay. I mean, we don't need that. I just don't think that's when I saw who performed better, who should be and I would hope that the organization is basing this off of the decision, who played better, who performed better across the board. And, I know people don't want to hear this and they want to get pitchforks out and riot about Clayton Tune because he threw a pick 6, but he also you saw an uptick in completion percentage. He was making some plays downfield. He's got the athleticism and, he showed incremental improvement from year 1 to year 2. Was it enough to where you feel comfortable with him? The entire idea of him backing up Kyler Murray? No. And I get the skepticism. I'm with you, but he outplayed Desmond Ridder by a lot.
Do you feel like there's a reality in which just like Clayton Tune was given grace last year to learn the scheme and learn the this is Clayton Tune's second year in this offense. Could they say Ridder just, he's only been with us a few months. We got to get him more time. This isn't.
I don't want to live in that reality.
Okay.
I don't want to be a part of that reality.
Listen, I spent all yesterday's post-game show saying they need to trade for a backup quarterback. And you're like, it might just be a guy. And now we're sitting here and I'm like, what if, okay, they're not in on Malik Willis. What if there's not a quarterback that they love to go get? I'm just trying to rationalize. If we sit here tomorrow and both these guys are hanging around, it's just okay, maybe this is their thought process. If they feel like they have their starter, maybe they don't feel the sense of urgency.
But here's my argument, and this is why I thought it was shameful, the display that was put on by both of you guys, is that you put me in this idea that I was sitting there and I was pounding the table for Clayton Tune to be
QB2. You absolutely were yesterday.
No, I wasn't.
I want Bo's direct deposit checked to see how many payments he's received from Clayton Tune.
From Tune Enterprises.
Listen, you're going to lose credibility with the people on the show. We know you're in the locker room. We know you're with the team every day.
Yeah.
We know you're getting side checks and cash on the side from these players that you're carrying water for. Just admit it.
Yeah. But my point yesterday was that it's unrealistic to think that you can get somebody in the door fresh at it from outside the organization and week 1 be your backup quarterback. I think it's just unrealistic to get. I know they did it with Dobbs, but Dobbs with the starting, he was going to get starter reps, and it would take away from what the true, assignment is week 1, and it's to beat the Buffalo Bills. And you take away from preparation by trying to get somebody else ready. I think you would bring somebody in and you would keep Tune, and Tune would be your backup in the interim. That was my entire point.
I disagree. This is the NFL. This is big boy football. If you get acquired by a team, you do what you need to do to get ready to play. And I think a lot of being a backup and you're thrust into action mid-game is just making plays.
But you're acting like Tune was Tune of the Cleveland Browns game all preseason when he looked like he made some throws. He made some plays.
Well, they had 1 touchdown pass in the entire preseason.
And who did it belong to?
Oh, yeah. Oh, congratulations. You played in 3 games and threw 1 touchdown pass. Awesome. Let's give it up for Clayton.
He also rushed for a touchdown, didn't he?
I don't remember.
We're not going to count it. It doesn't count. It doesn't fit most narrative. No, it doesn't fit. Stop. And Matt Prater missed a field goal. And who is the guy, Tony Jones, who fumbled it in the red zone? That's all on Tune. It's all his fault. He sucks.
Are you listening to this guy right now, Damon?
He's a complete apologist. It doesn't matter. He's just going to find Clayton Tune's side. I want to know if you guys are related.
Me and Tune?
Yeah.
I mean, I got to do what is it? 23andMe, and we'll figure it out. Yeah, we can see if there's any ties.
This show, I don't want to become anti-Clayton Tune, but you're going to make me do that.
I will.
Damon.
I'll do it.
199. Is it too late to untrade for Ridder and undraft? I'm assuming this means Rondale Moore. I live that nightmare every day, Chaz, with this franchise. I want to redo draft picks. We mentioned Isaiah Simmons. Isaiah Simmons, once upon a time, was drafted well ahead of CeeDee Lamb, who just got paid, one of the highest, if not the highest receiver in the NFL. Isaiah Simmons literally is making the vet minimum. we're living from the sins of Steve Keim's past every single day on the show. And that's why, like, the Ritter trade, respectfully, like, if it blows up in smoke tomorrow and they have to cut him, like, I better not see anybody complain about it, because you literally, respectfully to Rondell Moore, you didn't give up a piece of your team that's going to, make or break your. The only thing you could say is, why'd you give him a bunch of reps? But I think that trade at the time was universally praised by people. Hey, this is a guy that's got starting experience. He's young. He's got mobility. Doesn't have the arm of Kyler, but like, Desmond Ritter should be a competent backup based on the fact that an NFL franchise in the Atlanta Falcons said, hey, you're our starter. Imagine thinking that was a reality like last year. So I have no issue with them rolling the dice and trying to make that work.
Right. In providing competition, keeping, kind of a flame under tune to get ready for training camp, or even before that, OTAs and mandatory, and then training camp, and then preseason action. But the change of scenery didn't take the new system and playmakers and all that just didn't prove to be, the magic elixir to get, the former Cincinnati quarterback that took his team to the CFP, to translate to this level. And, now it becomes even tougher for him, I think, to stick at this level, that two organizations in 3 years are going to kind of cast him off.
Good job, $4.99. I'm kind of new here. Well, welcome, good job. But can anyone explain the inside joke why JV says Ossenfort rather than Ossenfort? Good job. It's because we work here and partner with Sanderson Ford. And so I merged those two names together.
As you'll notice, we're not exactly the most buttoned up operation around here. And all three of your hosts, and I'm not going to lump our guy, Craig Morgan, in there, because he's
Big J.
Yeah, he's much more well-spoken than us. You're not going to hear him fumble around. And he's been pronouncing hockey names most of his career.
Oh my God.
He does a way better job. And we'll just completely take somebody's name and torch it. And it's sad. But
Johnny's not a name guy. No one's ever claimed Johnny was a name guy. He just kind of goes with the flow.
Yeah.
I have my bachelor is in communication journalism, broadcast journalism. My minor is in English, and my pronunciations are perfect to a T. They are exact. Johan Dotson's exactly how he wants his name pronounced. Yeah. JP, $20 super chat, $19.99. Wow. Thank you so much, JP, for your
very generous. Thank you, JP.
Yeah, support on that level. Get Drew Stanton back with the Cards. Would love that. I mean, Stanton and Colt McCoy, that's the gold standard when both could function. Right now, they're looking for that. And again, here's the issue, JP and Bo Brock, is that none of this matters if Kyler Murray's healthy for 17 games. Mm-hmm. But just like Carson Palmer once upon a time, Arians had the foresight to say, we got to get somebody in here. My guy misses too much time. Tore his ACL. He had elbow issues. He had a finger 1 year. And then with Kyler Murray, every single year he's been in the NFL, and I am a Kyler Murray apologist, that he's missed time. So to sit here and say like, oh, they're good. This is first world problems. I saw a lot on Twitter yesterday. No, whomever is quarterback 2, based on the history of Kyler Murray's career, which I am a fan of, and I want him to be the QB1 of this franchise, he is going to miss time. It's like what we say about James Conner. Do we hate James Conner? We say that every year. Got to get a good backup. They drafted Trey Benson. They have Michael Carter Jr. When Kyler Murray is your QB1, until proven otherwise, and he would tell you this, you have to have somebody that can come in and not embarrass the team and give them at least an opportunity to be competitive on that Sunday against that specific team. There is fucking nobody on the roster that can do that right now. You are asking to take a big fat L with Desmond Ritter and Clayton Tune. So that's my only argument. Is Tyler Huntley a star? No, he's not a star player, but he and the Dobbses of the world can at least come in and make things competitive and viable. And who knows, maybe Marv has a big day, or Trey McBride, and the rest of your team picks you up and elevates you, right?
Yeah.
You got to go find that guy. They haven't been able to.
It's tough to find that guy. I mean, before Colt McCoy, Kyler Murray didn't have a viable backup.
No.
Who was playing backup to him? Is it
Hundley?
Yeah, Brett Hundley.
Brett Hundley.
Stravler for that big game in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And then they were like, hey, I mean, sometimes these organizations have to have it pounded overhead. Like, hey, we can save money at the backup quarterback. We can draft and develop. And then once it comes time for those guys to play, they see the error of their ways. And then it's like, okay, let's not make that mistake again. So, I think that this organization should be taken seriously. They've proven that they should be. I think that they're going to tweak the position to an extent between now and tomorrow. I mean, complete speculation. I've got nothing sourced, nothing, no names to throw your way, but just based on the performances this preseason, like it is something that needs to be addressed in some fashion.
Yeah, I see people in the chat respectfully saying, like, if K1 is hurt, we need to tank, and I'm not giving up a 5th round pick for a backup. So you're telling me, everybody, if this team busts their ass this year and let's just say they're above 500 and it's December 1st and they're going to Minnesota and Kyler Murray can't go that week. He physically, he's got a hamstring, he's got a quad, and you're like, we can beat Sam Darnold. We just need somebody to come in and keep the train on the tracks. You're telling me right now, it's like, no, we should just tank. We should just purposely lose. We should just throw Clayton Tune to the Wolves again. No, man, you got to be buttoned up. You got to have somebody. You got to be, if the Cardinals want to be a serious franchise, which is their goal, you got to be serious about the QB spot beyond just K1. So as much as like Ossenfort loves his draft picks, he's proven with Xavier Thomas and Dante Stills and Taylor Demerson, he's not wiping his behind with him, Steve Keim, especially on day 3. So I get it. You may not want to give up a 5th or a 6th round pick today and tomorrow, but in the grand scheme of things, it's probably going to be what's best for the team. And that, at the end of the day, is what's most important.
Yeah. I've seen Tannehill jump in here, our guy Brendan Webb, saying that Clancy suggested Tannehill. He's free. Here's what my logic is on, or my thoughts are on Tannehill. Is I don't know if Tannehill wants to come play where the quarterback is entrenched in the starting role. I think he wants, a shot at legitimately playing and maybe starting again. I think that's probably the holdup with Ryan Tannehill. He was not welcoming to a quarterback competition back in his Titans days, and I don't know if he ever will be like welcoming or embrace his role, as he's made a lot of money, and he can probably be a little bit picky, even though his play is probably told you like, hey, you're probably a backup the rest of your career.
Time for a reality check for
Ryan. Look, Ryan, he's had several of those throughout his career, but
he's had a good career.
Yeah.
Is he retired?
Like, if you're asking me, like, would you take Ryan Tannehill as your backup quarterback? Absolutely. I mean, I just don't think that, the opportunity is to get him in here.
Yeah. Does he want to play football too? Like, is that, this is different. I mean, Joe Flacco, the Browns coaxed him out of retirement. He won comeback player of the year. Like, Tannehill has familiarity with Ossenfort. I think that's a plus for you. But again, like, Ossenfort hasn't really shown a reputation of going out and getting a bunch of ex-Tennessee players. I can't even think of that many outside of maybe Sean Murphy Bunting. Like, most of the guys that they have gone after have been where? From Cleveland, right? They took coaches from Cleveland. They took, I think, some front office people from Cleveland, a little bit from Detroit. Like, those are the franchises we ought to be looking at right now. And there's a reputation now. The Cardinals made a trade with the Browns last year and then subsequently made a trade with the Vikings during the season. So a lot of moving parts. We're going to continue to discuss them, as well as who's trending up and trending down for the Arizona Cardinals. Plus, we're going to hear from Jonathan Gannon. But first, I want to hear from you. Have you downloaded the Bet365 app? And if not, what the hell are you waiting for? Right now, we're going to hook you up, make you some bonus bets money with the bonus code PHNX 365. Bet365 has 90 million users worldwide. And if you've been waiting to dip your toe in, look, I get it, right? If you're on a couple different apps and you're looking to settle down, this is the one for you. 780,000 events each year across the NBA, NHL, Major League Baseball, and of course, the sweet, sweet sound of football here in the fall between college and the NFL. There is no better time to get started with our friends at Bet365. We're going to hook you up right now. Create a new account. Deposit at least 10 bones. Of course, use the bonus code PHNX365. You're going to get a bet and get offer when you place $5 or more. boom, $150 in bonus bets, no questions asked. And if you're looking for a little bit bigger of a payday, you're saying, Johnny, I'm looking for cards, maybe money line week 1, and I want that safety net. How about the first bet safety net offer by placing a bet up to $1,000? If your qualifying bet loses, you receive a match refund and bonus bets up to $1,000. You can't get anything better anywhere else. It's never ordinary with our friends at Bet365. Download the app today. Again, bonus code PHNX365 when you sign up. Tell them PHNX Cardinals sent you, would you? You got to be 21 years and over, located physically here in Arizona. If you or someone you know has a gambling problem, wants help, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, text NEXT STEP to 53342, or visit problemgambling.az.gov, Bo, for more information.
I'm sure if you were to log on to Indeed.com and just kind of search the job postings, you would see the Cardinals have one for a backup quarterback and one maybe for an edge rusher. But if they were smart about it, if they really wanted to be aggressive in filling those needs, they would just turn to Indeed. It just comes down to, if you need to hire, you need Indeed. It's your matching and hiring platform with over 350 million global monthly visitors, according to Indeed data. That's legit matching engine that helps you find quality candidates fast. This is not going to be a long, drawn-out process where you're going to be searching for candidates for over a year and your company is going to pay dearly for it, and you're not going to be able to see your family that much because you're spending time picking up the slack for where you could just hire somebody through Indeed and they can get you the best candidate possible to do so. I mean, here's Indeed right now. If you go to Indeed.com, they'll get $75 towards a sponsored job credit by just going to Indeed.com/AllCity. That's all it is. You go to Indeed.com/AllCity, and right now, you tell them that PHNX Cardinals sent you. They're going to give you $75 in sponsored job credit. That's going to get your job more visibility. It's going to get it in front of more qualified candidates' eyes, and they'll hopefully make the decision to come work for you and help take your company to the moon. Check it out, Indeed.com/AllCity. Terms and conditions apply. You need to hire? You need Indeed.
Indeed, you do. Bo Brack, Johnny Venerable, Damon, Dawg here, PHNX Cardinals live on a football Monday, ahead of the cut down to 53. Drop a like. We got over 1,000, up to 1,100 people watching. We appreciate you all. Again, drop a like. It helps exponentially here. Subscribe to PHNX Sports if you're watching on the Twitter streets. Now, it's called X, formerly Twitter. Jump over to YouTube, hit that subscribe, drop a comment, leave a like. Greatly appreciated. I appreciated, Bo, the clarity from JG today, because you and the rest of the Arizona media met with the head ball coach for the Arizona Cardinals, and he talked about a number of topics, including now the Cardinals' renewed sense of urgency. Because, you know, if you're not at practice and this is all you've seen during the last month, the preseason efforts, it might be hard to be like, oh yeah, can this team flip a switch here? Come 2 weeks from Sunday.
Yeah, and our very talented beat reporter Craig Morgan was asked him, like, you know, what's next? Do you feel that sense of urgency? And this was Gannon's answer as far as that goes.
Sense of urgency is high as I'm sitting here right now. But yeah, and I think it goes into what we just talked about with cuts yesterday. For us too, there's a starting line now that's becoming very clear in your vision. So I don't want to say that our urgency is going to pick up, but it needs to pick up.
I'm not saying, hey, you need to light a fire under your ass right now and focus in, lock in, but you need to lock in. That's basically what he's saying. And I think that's from top to bottom. Like when he talks about the starting line, that's week 1 against Josh Allen and the Buffalo Bills, a team with big time expectations. And if you don't come in prepared and ready to go, you could come out of there with your tail between your legs and suffering a humbling defeat. So the coach, you know, coming off an 0-3 preseason exhibition season, ready to kind of refocus. And now it's with the team that was expected to play significant snaps, you know, the bulk of it, right? You've got probably, you're going to be without 2 pieces that you were anticipating having to start the season. Probably not on the defensive front, and BJ Ojolari for the entire season. And then Darius Robinson we'll see probably for like a month or so. But you won't have him week 1. That's for sure.
Yeah. Gannon talked a little bit about Darius Robinson, and I don't know if we have the clip, but basically just said, you can paraphrase. He just said, you know, when he's ready to go, he'll go.
Not going to speculate. Not going to put a timeline on it.
Which is smart, in my opinion.
Right.
But I do think that, you got other players like Nick Chubb being placed on, is it PUP, or I get confused with all the designations. But as of today, here on August 26th, the Cardinals have yet to put him on short-term IR. If that move were to happen, Bo, when do you anticipate it? Do you feel like
I think, I was talking to a couple people on Twitter about that. It's it benefits the team to make a decision, I think, within the next 12 to 18 hours, before the roster, right? So you want to get that in there so you could utilize that spot. If you're going to IR them, you do it.
Yeah.
If so then you start the clock as soon as week 1 starts, but it keeps them at a minimum of 4 weeks. If this is hey, this is a 4 to 5 week injury, and I think that your decision's already made for you. As much as you want to hold out hope that he's a freak and he's a healer and all those things, also you got to keep in consideration this is year 1 of many for Darius Robinson. And, you've helped add some depth with Justin Jones and Bilal Nichols. And, your ideal defensive front isn't available to you, but, at some point it will. And with a calf, probably not something you want to mess around with. So that's the latest on D-Rob. Really kind of came out of yesterday. You had the Ritter concussion, you had Christian Jones with an ankle. The X-ray came back negative, but I think he's having had some more work kind of checked out today. And then Darren Hall and Elijah Jones were also just getting some follow-ups today, but nobody seemed to come out of that with a major injury. So they escaped that. And now you're just kind of looking at, from the beginning of training camp throughout the preseason, 2 injuries. Not the worst. You look around the league, Dolphins had 20 injuries, Damon, right? That they're trying to weather here going into the regular season.
Niners are super banged up.
Yeah.
That's a damn shame. A damn shame. Holdouts and injuries. Here's what I will say based on kind of what I've heard is I would be shocked if Darius does not go on injured reserve because of the timeline that they're looking at. But I think it's right at, I'll put my stake in this. I think it's going to be right at 4 weeks. So I would say,
stake.
Yeah, I will say, not my physical stake, but my mental stake, as it's, put on the line every time I do this damn show. But I think Darius Robinson, I think they put him on injured reserve. They take the utmost caution, as they should. And we'll see Darius hopefully early October, where this team is hopefully at least 2-2, right? And you ought to be able at least to beat Washington without him. And then we've talked about it. Detroit, LA Rams, Buffalo Bills. When one of those other games, your goal is you want to win every game, play 500 ball the first 8 games of the year, and then feast on the Carolinas, the Patriots, the Seahawks, now the Vikings with Sam Darnold. There's a window here, but there also has to be a sense of urgency. And JG talked about that. What about the roster building, which could very much change? Let's hear from JG here in the next 24 hours.
I don't know if I'd say enjoy. I think it's a challenge that you have to do well, because I guess I do enjoy it. Because you're looking at the 53 and then the practice squad. There's a very defined right now as we sit here today. The roles will be defined. What that looks like and how important every role is. And I feel really good about the guys that we're picking from to fill out those roles.
So a little insight there at the end, that the guys they're picking from to fill some of the remaining roster needs, where I think last year they had to kind of outsource that a little bit.
Yeah.
What did we figure out? How many players did they add? Was it 6 to the team at this time last year?
Mm-hmm.
And then we had handicapped it 2.5, 3.5 for this year. And I think that's
we had it at 2.5.
2.5. So if you're feeling lucky, I know Bet 365 they got mostly everything, but if you want to play at home and bet with yourself, you taking the over or the under, you can let us know in the chat. But in full context to that, Gannon's trying to be respectful to the guys that just put in a lot of work for this team
100%.
And are going to be, released and try to figure out what's the next step as far as their professional football life. But then he also, realized while he was answering that, I think he loves building a team and finding out who the best 53 are going to be and all the kind of strategy that goes into it. So that mixed with Monti Ossenfort, who's a sicko in his own right, like they're the guys that are going to find who's going to be able to set them up for success here in year 2.
Speaking of sickos, we would be sick to our stomach if Michael Carter Jr. didn't make this team behind the likes of Trey Benson and, of course, the aforementioned James Conner. Here's JG on why Michael Carter didn't play in yesterday's preseason finale.
Michael Carter saw enough from what we needed to see for him.
Short and sweet.
Yeah.
And Amari DeMercado played 8 snaps on special teams. Saw no action running the football, and I don't think that they saw any value. I think they know what they're going to get from DeMercado as far as running the football. That's not like a good or bad thing. Like they know who he is a running back here. So could that be the biggest surprise of this roster come tomorrow, that they carry 5 running backs?
There is no reality in which 5 running backs.
Right.
I mean, like they carried 3 last year. I would say that the probability of them carrying 5 is 0. I think the probability of them carrying 4 is maybe 10%. But no. You think they're going to carry 4?
Yeah, with what DJ Dallas.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah. But in no world are they going to carry 5. Yeah, I keep forgetting DJ Dallas. I'm going to tell you right now, like
he didn't even dress yesterday, did he?
Who, DJ Dallas?
Right.
Yeah. I just haven't been very impressed with him. And then you look at, and I know prisoner of the moment preseason, Xavier Weaver looks pretty good returning kicks. And it's just like, I'm all about who's on the rise right now, who can help this team right now. I just DJ Dallas to me, like we talk about a mulligan on the Ritter trade. Is the DJ Dallas deal in hindsight like the best for this team? I don't know
if he ever I didn't get the sense that he's ever been on the bubble.
Well, no, I think that could be one of those things where it's like they gave this guy a 3-year contract for a return specialist that, I'm sorry, that's not Joshua Cribbs out there. You know, I think he's serviceable, but you're telling me like you couldn't have gotten like 80-85% of what you think you're going to get from. I could look like an idiot if he starts housing kicks during the year, but I know that they're trying to like play to this new kickoff rule, but I don't know. Michael Carter, to me, it would be a lunacy to keep him off the team. Trey Benson, James Conner, and then like if they really love DeMercado, like I don't know. DJ Dallas, to me, I just feel like there's very little upside. But again, like money talks in the NFL, and they gave him a contract, so they're just very similar. Like the argument is,
we're not talking a ton of dead money.
Yeah, but dude, like when you think Ossenfort is going to admit mistakes tomorrow in twofold, like, hey, I traded for Ritter, gone. I signed a running back to a 3-year contract, gone. Like that, even for Ossenfort, who's as shrewd as they come, that's asking a lot, in my opinion. I think some of it is we got to see this through.
As soon as they were done with Dobbs, they were done with Dobbs.
Well, no. He served a purpose, though.
Right.
But like, has DJ Dallas
once they didn't view him as serving a purpose anymore?
Well, because Kyler Murray was coming
back.
That's a little different. That's a little bit different. But I understand what you're saying. Like DJ Dallas is supposed to be your kick returner this year. Yeah. I mean, like
he's going to be.
Yeah.
I mean, look, Amari DeMercado, like we've been pounding this table. Like I view what Michael Carter does in his role adds more value to that running back room, to your offense, to you winning football games more so than Amari DeMercado. Like I think like when you see guys running backs whose names are around, like P. Ryan with the Broncos and stuff, like you can put DeMercado and just lump him in a big group of running backs who are going to become available potentially tomorrow.
Let's get to trending up, trending down, because again, this show is jam packed. We got 1,300 people watching.
Leave a like. We weren't going to get to 500 likes though. I mean,
stop saying. I feel like you're like badgering the audience. I know you're doing like reverse psychology here, but I think people might be like, actually, both said I didn't need to leave a like, so that's why I'm not going to do it. Again, 1,300 people watching. Drop a like, drop a comment here. Trending up, trending down here on our PHNX Cardinals Monday. Who's up for the Arizona Cardinals? How about this trio right here? I'm liking what I'm seeing from Xavier Weaver, and I think, Bo, you and I are on the same page. The benefactor from the Zay Jones suspension. The undrafted free agent out of Colorado has obviously he's got a big fan base in Colorado. A lot of people seeing his highlights yesterday, rooting for him. And then I compared him to our co-host here on PHNX Cardinals, Britton Golden, former Arizona Cardinal wide receiver. I think he's a really nice returner. And I think he's got straight line speed that you can't coach. And even though Clayton Tune airmailed a couple passes yesterday, is he going to see time with the ones with K1? No, but is he good enough to keep on the roster to develop? Maybe once upon a time when Chris Moore and Zay Jones and Zach Pascal aren't on the team. I think it would be a mistake to let him go.
Yeah, I'd be surprised if he doesn't make the initial 53 and then becomes the new opportunity of sticking around after Zay Jones comes back to 5-week suspension. Like that's the mission for Xavier Weaver. I thought that what he did was he earned a spot. He outplayed a draft pick, and when the I guess opportunity kind of arose when Zay Jones, to the Cardinals' surprise, got a 5-game suspension. Like, they knew that there could be some sort of ban, but I don't think anybody was expecting 5. Weaver now becomes and earns, I think, a roster spot. I mean, who would you keep, or who would keep him off the roster? I don't think Tayshaun Palmer has the case. I don't think anybody down the depth chart has the preseason
we're talking
resume.
If they keep 6 receivers, right?
Yeah, and I think they will. I don't think that's a high number.
Yeah, I think the only thing that would keep him off the roster if they somehow went down to 5, and I don't think you can do that. LJ Collier, again, didn't play yesterday, but I think just by default with no Darius Robinson, they're going to need him to play a more focal role this first couple weeks of the regular season. He showed explosiveness last year before going down, and then in the preseason had some nice interior pressure. I think you could also throw Cameron Thomas in this group again. So some of these guys that you figure, and Collier was never on the fringe, on the bubble like Cameron Thomas, but you just need a collective group, like we said with Ojulari, but I think tenfold now with Darius, to just come in and keep everybody fresh, do a job, not be a sieve on the defensive line where you're just getting blown off the ball. Collier, former first-round pick in and of his own right, I think you can ride him here for the first month if that's how long Darius is out. Big number 91, I think, is going to give the Cardinals some surprising results.
Yeah, proving his worth right away, right? As getting another opportunity here after only playing in like a game, we'll call it, before having the biceps injury. He's a guy that's cross-trained to play some positions all across the defensive line. As he said, a guy who came out of TCU as a first-round pick to Seattle, and then things didn't work out there. But, talking to him last week, I'd asked him, is Yelda Froholt kind of the blueprint for a guy like yourself, seeking out a true opportunity in this organization, the one giving it to you and believing in you, and then parlaying that into maybe, an extended stay, an extension, or just a decent contract with a spot on a roster in a rotation. I think that, he's got the opportunity here to do that with the D-Rob injury. And even before that, like, they like 5 guys on their defensive line. And I think Collier was firmly in that rotation even before the injury.
The last one, again, we already highlighted Michael Carter. And again, we expect him to be on the roster unless he's otherwise moved. Let's look at who's trending down for the Cardinals after the preseason. It's tough out here in these QB2 streets.
Trending down.
Yeah, respectfully. And this is not specific to just Clayton Tune. Like, does anybody want the QB2 job in Arizona? It doesn't feel like it. They're just like giving it away at this point. Right now, it's by default Clayton Tune. That could change as early as tomorrow based on any moves. But I mean, I didn't want to put the quarterback room on this graphic. We didn't want to do that because it's still led by K1, somebody who we feel like is going to have a monster year. But man, oh man, the depth on this team. And I get it. It's like, how many great backups are there? How many teams are loaded at the position? Do the Cardinals still need to rebuild their offensive line? Of course they do. Depth purposes, it's not very good. That being said, like, it was very difficult to watch the Cardinals quarterback play this preseason. Very difficult.
A lot of drives that ended it without points, right?
Yeah.
And you want to be able to see your offense move the ball, get into the red zone, score points. And you didn't see it often enough from, either one of the Cardinals quarterbacks, and both were given ample time. Like, most teams are running out 2, 3, 4 guys.
Yeah.
And some, guys will get in there. I mean, even like it was disgusting. Damon was just talking about this before the mics went live. Like the Zach Wilson love fest that was going on in the broadcast yesterday was nauseating. But like we didn't ever have those opportunities with any of these quarterbacks. Like, to even just be speaking about somebody picking apart a 4th string defense, like it just never happened. Like nobody just went in there and balled. Even like when you put it in perspective, is like, hey, he's doing this against people who are going to work, at UPS next month.
I think that was what was eye-opening for me.
Yeah.
Is that like I know how bad Zach Wilson is. I've watched so much Zach Wilson football, unfortunately, in my life.
I'm sorry.
And I mean, like he was genuinely playing a different sport than Clayton Tune and Desmond Ridder were out there yesterday. Like that, he was
running, he was ripping it downfield.
Well,
and then people are like, "Oh, look what Sean Payton's doing with Zach Wilson. Look, he's having fun." It's like, no, he's picking apart not an NFL defense, and like he's as the 2nd overall pick playing as the 3rd quarterback in an NFL offense in the final preseason game.
But again, you could flip that narrative and say, okay, well, the Cardinals were facing similar backups, maybe worse in some instances, and couldn't take advantage.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's less, to your point, is less about Zach Wilson and more about, by comparison, Bo and Damon, to your point, Cardinals backups look egregiously bad. Like, I don't care about what Zach Wilson did. But
I'm not going to say Tune looked egregiously bad. He had one egregious throw in 3 games.
Well, when Zach Wilson's like making it look easy on guys who are not in the NFL, like there was nothing easy about the preseason for it. It was every throw, every attempt seemingly from both quarterbacks. You're like, okay. And then it just airmailing passes. And it just, at some point, the Cardinals just have to, I think, just get a little bit more serious about the backup situation. And if it's like, no, we like the guys, they have tools, then it is Sean Payton can elevate Zach Wilson. Like, I'm not completely like poo-pooing that. Like,
but
that's a real thing.
What's crazy though is like you've seen Tune play, but like if this won't happen, they're going to keep 3. If Zach Wilson made his way onto the roster and he had to play, he's not good. Just the same as Tune is not
for sure. But the Broncos, I don't think the Broncos aren't keeping him as their quarterback too. They're going to start Jarrett Stidham, who also is not good.
Why couldn't Tune look like that though? That's my question. My issue.
Yeah. I mean, look, you wanted him to get into some sort of rhythm, and it didn't happen. I think he was sacked 8 times. The backup offensive line was not great, but
I think they just have to answer. Like, you can't have your cake and eat it too, where, we're going to play preseason games and we expect something from the guys that play. Okay. But then maybe they don't play well. And it's just like, well, it's just preseason. It's like, no. Like, this is the evaluation process. If Clayton Tune is out there, he should be judged accordingly. I'm judging all the players that play. Like, if you want us to care about this product, preseason or not, then people have to be held accountable. Their quarterback play this preseason was awful. And if Kyler Murray goes down, I expect that to continue until they get somebody else in here. I saw somebody earlier in the chat saying, why are we acting like Joshua Dobbs is good? He's not good. Number one, Joshua Dobbs was very competent for the amount of time that they needed him to start last year, and only started to erode when he was asked to start for like 8 games. And then
Dobbs is the quintessential backup. It's like,
right. It's the perfect scenario. Right. He went to Minnesota and won a game, and then he looks good in the preseason for the Niners. That's what you want. Cardinals have nobody close to that.
He can outright lose you 3 games. That's the old saying as far as, backup quarterbacks. Like if you're looking for consistency from that spot, doesn't happen. It's tough enough to find 32 of these starting guys. Let alone, like, once you get, that's why I say you're slumming it when you're talking about backup quarterbacks, because most of them are bad, inconsistent, and put bad tape out there.
There's no doubt about that, but having a top 5 worst backup QB situation when you have a quarterback that is injury prone is concerning.
It is concerning. People rip it when you're a draft and develop team, like, you're not going to let your 5th round pick come in and compete in.
Not when your quarterback has been injured every year. Nope.
But they took the chance on a former starter. Like, that's usually the path for the backup, and the guy came in and he was worst performer.
Okay, then you need to move on and get somebody else. That's all I'm saying.
And that's what we're all saying, the same damn thing, but differently.
We're not.
Is it? No. I mean, you guys are screaming it from the top of the Camelback Mountain. I appreciate your passion.
You don't. You hate us. No, you guys are the best. I love everybody in the chat, by the way. Keeping it going with trending up, trending down. As we got 1,400 watching, leave a like. Zay Jones, again, don't want to spend too much time on this. Was suspended late last week. Was part of a Friday news dump where a bunch of players got suspended. Zay is suspended 5 games for an incident taking place in the offseason, which Gannon then confirmed today, Bo. They knew about, they were comfortable with. They're comfortable with Zay. He has not appealed yet. I don't know if he's going to appeal. The NFL did an investigation, and while he didn't face criminal charges, I think we all just agree it's probably best for Zay, given the situation, to just say, okay, I'm going to take my suspension. I'll be back after 5 games, but by default, he is trending down, Bo.
Yeah, I mean, it's just it's not a bad look. It's just it's an unfortunate situation. It sounded like the team wasn't anticipating losing him for 5 games, but they were aware of it. But in these situations where the court of law throws it out and then the NFL has its own independent investigation, I think that the time to appeal has come and passed. But like, you're going up against the NFL who made their own, like, they made the decision. Why would they overturn what they've already put in place? Like, what new evidence can you provide them to get yourself out of there? And what, like, best case, they maybe knock off a game or 2. So, but still, just not ideal for a guy that is your main depth piece to that room.
And then, of course, preseason football, at least in Arizona, is going to be trending down until further notice. And we're going to see how this experiment, which is what it was, is going to be come the end of the year. We'll see
what was the last time like we liked watching preseason football here in the desert? When was
I didn't mind it last year because we got to see young players play, and they beat the Broncos week 1 of the preseason last year. Something happened.
They did.
They were more.
It was a bad game all the way up until the final drive.
Yeah, they had a walk-off touchdown though, just about. So, yeah, it hasn't been great. But again, like, I don't know, Greg Dortch, he's been a highlight of years prior. It's weird not watching him play in the preseason. He's earned it. But yeah, I think we're ready just to kind of move on, certainly from the preseason. It certainly seems like they're when the league goes to 18 games, we're only going to have to endure 2 of those bad boys. But if the league wants me to care and the Cardinals want me to care about the preseason, then I'm going to come on here and be critical when guys don't look good. Like, we're gonna if you can't have their cake and eat it too, because but like Taylor Demerson, Xavier Thomas, there were highlights. There are guys that we're excited about watching, following their preseason efforts.
What is it, like the old Michael Scott saying, like, I'm ready to be hurt again, right? And it's like, next preseason, Johnny's ready to overreact again.
No one's saying that. You say overreact. I say that it's an analysis. We have a potential update with regard to Marvin Harrison Jr.'s jersey, maybe, sorta, becoming available. But before we do that, I'm going to talk to you about our friends that they have an offer for you. It's available right now, at least through September 3rd. It's our friends at Circle K, America's thirst stop, baby. Driving fans to download right now. I want everybody to go to your mobile device, download the Circle K app, Inner Circle, become a member. You're going to save on their free new membership program, 25 cents per gallon on your first 5 fill-ups. Save 3 cents per gallon every single day. So no matter what, with the Inner Circle, you're saving money. And again, I mentioned it, 1 week from today, we've been talking about all summer. I've been dabbling. Damon, Bo, you guys have been dabbling. My son loves it. Any size Polar Pop or Froster at Circle K, Arizona locations, just 79 cents. You got to love it. We got 1 more week. It's triple digits again today. It's right around 100, 105 the rest of this week. So go and hydrate. Polar Pop, Froster, 79 cents. Join the Inner Circle for free by downloading the Circle K app today. Terms and conditions apply at participating locations. Visit CircleK.com for more details.
Our guy Max Adman pointed out that the Inner Circle's birthday turns 1 on Thursday, and they will be, if you're a member of the Inner Circle, you will save 40 cents per gallon all August 29th, all day long. Pretty good deal. 40 cents.
We will be there.
Yeah. We're going to be out there just hanging. It's going to be like Zoolander. We're going to have a gas fight.
Yeah.
Just going to be spraying each other down. That's how we're going to cool off with some Polar Pops and some gas, because it's only 40 cents. It's 40 cents off per gallon. It's unbelievable. So check that out for sure. You got the Circle K Inner Circle turning 1. Happy birthday. Happy early birthday there. What, are we talking about game time now?
We are, because again, we got games coming up here that you want to make sure you're locked and loaded on.
Unreal promotion going on with Game Time right now. They want you to see the battle for the NL West go down, and you save 50% off tickets. Dodgers at D-backs Chase Field game on Labor Day. They're going to hook you up. Everybody's doing promotions for the Snakes. And why not?
Snakes are hot.
They are hot. They've been hot. 20-5 in the last 25 games.
Must be nice.
Yeah. It's been nice.
Flip it nice. We're over here going 0-3 in the preseason, Diamondbacks. Can you pass on to
Johnny,
mojo?
With a lot of backups playing for the D-backs, and they're showing their depth.
They're showing how it's done, Ossenfort and Gannon. Come on.
Right.
The D-backs can do it, so can you.
Yeah. Take advantage of this unbelievable deal. Take advantage of Game Time's always great deals, right? You just download the Game Time app now. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, use the code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase, $20 off with PHNX as your promo code. Terms apply. Again, create an account, redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. Woo. Wow. You remember that? The old Bulls?
I do. Yeah.
Yeah.
Despite what Bo just did, please like this video.
How dare you?
Okay.
I feel like it's me versus you two guys. You guys are so cool. You and Damon. You know, you have this.
This feels like a made up thing in your head. Right. I don't know how you're feeling that right now.
I think it's your insecurity, Bo. I'm just trying to do a job. I'm trying to do a job for the people here. Man of the people.
No, Johnny, let's just lie and just agree with Bo all the time, because he isn't. That's what he wants.
Cardinals are perfect. They don't need to make the playoffs if they don't want to. And I love Clayton Tune. And let's be realistic. And let's put money in our 401k. And let's be responsible. No, I'm trying to win. Damn it! I'm trying to see some wins. And I'm not accepting a subpar product anymore.
You're like, oh, hey, 8% interest rate. Yeah, sign me up. I'll just say that, right? Is that what it's going to cost to get me in this house? Okay,
Johnny, did you read the contract? Hell no, baby. But check out this new ride. Yeah, right. All right.
Give me the keys.
We got picked up. We got teed up with a little tip from our guy Larry. And again, this is not breaking news, but I'm gonna put this on everybody's radar. We just pass along information as we get it.
This is on the heels of Winefuss's article today.
I don't know. I don't know if I didn't read that. I don't know if this was from. Sorry, Josh, I couldn't make it to your article.
Fanatics is suing Marvin Sr. With the whole situation. Fanatics is right now alleged that breach of contract for Marvin Harrison Jr. and they're including his father, Marvin Harrison Sr. Fraud allegations against him as well. So.
Okay. Something's going on with Lucchetta. Did Lucchetta make the team? People saying Lucchetta liking tweets, that's interesting. Jesse Lucchetta, let's see here. Ottawa's very own, watch out, player of the game. Oh, from this past weekend. Sure. Nothing breaking there. All right. So here's what's going on.
You got tipped off. Did make the team, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
If I could be frank on this show.
You can't. Please be quiet. Larry messaged us here at PHNX Sports, PHNX Cardinals. Larry said the following: Marvin Harrison Jr. jerseys are now available on NFL Europe's shop. So there it is. That's not a cropped image. That is real life. That's not AI. Larry's stating, I've been monitoring this for a number of weeks. Thank you for your service, Larry. And it has only become available the past few days. It says that it's in stock and shipping. Get it down to $84. So maybe available in the United States soon. It's not available on the Cards team store. It's not available on the U.S. shop. But NFL Europe, their website, they have Marvin Harrison Jr. jerseys doctored up and ready to go. Now, I have not tried this. I don't know if anybody's in Europe that can opt to do this. Take one for the team, if you will. Awesome. But again, let's check this out here. Something to watch if you're hankering for one. I just feel like this is tough with regard to both what you just mentioned. New York Times had an article, The Athletic going on with this, and then Josh Weinfuss, of course, today on ESPN. Did Marvin Harrison Jr. suddenly come to an agreement? Did they settle it, or is this just an error on NFL Europe's point?
Yeah. Like, are you able to access while you're in the United States the NFL Europe shop? Can I
ship it from Europe to me?
Right.
Is that what you're asking? I mean,
like, can you access while in the United States without like IP? What hides your IP address? VPN. Yeah. Can you do that?
I don't know what you're asking. I'm sorry. I'm confused by what you're asking.
Like, could I just go to the NFL Europe's shop right now on my computer as
I'm doing it right now on my computer, and I'm shipping it to the United States from NFL Europe, and it's allowing me to do so. And I'm one credit card information away from placing my order. So, I mean, does everybody like want me to try? Do you want me to try to do it?
Yeah, get that
and take one for the team here. I'm a big boy. I'll try. I didn't put in the bonus code though, so I'm paying full price right now. My screen does not go. What's that?
What size are you getting? One for you or your son?
You know what I'm doing. I'm sorry, son. I'm sorry. You have enough jerseys, son. I don't see a place that allows me to put a promo code. Oh, here it is. Have a coupon. One per customer. Okay. What was that? 20% off, Damon? Can we see that one more time?
Second down.
Second down. Spelled out.
2ND down.
This is good podcasting.
All right.
I'll fill. I mean, this is what is in Weinfuss's most recent article at ESPN.com. In the suit, according to the New York State Supreme Court, Fanatics named Marvin Harrison Sr. in the party in the suit and alleges he, quote, aided and abetted Harrison Jr.'s fraud on Fanatics.
Okay, I don't love hearing that. Okay, here's what it's saying. I've got my address in here. I've got my shipping information. It's going to cost, I don't know how this is going to work, $10 to ship. And then I put in my bonus code. So after everything, Marvin Harrison Jr., it says game jersey, number 18, the item ships within 7 business days. Okay, here we go. I'm going to try to place the order here on NFL Europe's website for the betterment of this podcast here. Mm-hmm. Processing. We'll see here. It is processing. So estimated arrival date, September 12th through September 19th. I've taken one for the team. It cost me $127 for this show. We will see here. This is Fanatics International. Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, here's the issue.
September when?
I have checked out. Hang on. I've checked out. This is interesting. I've checked out. Now it's changing from the Marvin jersey to, it says now a custom jersey, and it says custom text Harrison Jr. and then 18. So even could they get around Marvin not having a deal, but trying to take advantage and get residuals and whatever and make money off of this?
You can't do that on the team shop. They just won't let you do a custom jersey with Harrison or Harrison Jr.
I'm telling you right now, the custom jersey, I expect this to get canceled.
I would cancel your order if I were you right now to save yourself $127.
Well, what are they going to send me if they don't? I'm willing to wait it out. Are they going to send me this jersey? Do you think they're going to send me his jersey that says 00? Maybe put my last name on the back. That'd be pretty hilarious. Adonis saying Johnny's going to be involved in MHJ's lawsuits.
Maybe you can get around that in Europe.
Okay, hang on. I'm going to take a screen capture. I'm going to show everybody what I'm looking at because I don't want people to have
You're going to be in like a British court. They're going to have the wigs on and everything. And
Damon, I'm sending this to you real quick here. Give me 1 sec, everybody. Because I know people want to know. People want to get this jersey, man. Yeah. You don't know how many people.
I mean, that could potentially get to you by week 2, week 3 at the latest.
I think people would take that at this point. When you say
Michael Evans, JV's going to jail. Yeah, that old AJ Green shirt with the Harrison thing just taped over it. It's going to look awesome.
Okay, I just sent it to free JV. I just sent it to Damon. So I'm going to show you everybody what we're seeing out here. So Marvin Harrison Jr.'s jersey can be purchased, at least hypothetically, And like fans don't care if it's a custom jersey or not. It's a new Cardinal jersey. It's the black one that says Harrison Jr. on the back with number 18.
Yeah, I wonder if it's a loophole because the lawsuits happening here in the good old United States.
Well, then I think it's not costing you more money to get it shipped from Europe. I can tell you right now, it's the same price as if you were to buy one here. So maybe that's how they're getting through it. I've never ordered anything off of NFL Shop Europe though.
No, you don't frequent it.
No, I don't. I had to pay standard tax, standard shipping. I got $27.80 saved on coupons. My total was $127.34.
Pounds.
So, what are these comments here? I just gotta look at them.
Nick, FBI has entered the chat.
This is called taking one for the team, and if my identity gets stolen, and then everybody here is to blame. All right. While Damon is queuing that up here, ESPN put an article out today. Multiple draft picks that have fallen out of favor. Who could be on the outs? Couple names here to keep an eye on, one of which they tied to the Arizona Cardinals. Azeez Ojulari, the brother of BJ Ojulari, is supposedly available from the New York Giants. 24 years old, 16 sacks, 56 pressures. His contract expires in 2025. He himself was a mid-round pick, like his brother. And again, they've got Brian Burns. They've got Kayvon Thibodeau. I don't know what the sense of urgency here is if you're the Giants. Like, you just let his contract expire. But, like, what would you be willing to give up for a guy that, I mean, really has not shown a consistent effort to get after the quarterback, even though he's Ojulari's brother?
Yeah, I mean, if you're thinking of like an ideal situation, reuniting him with his brother, I mean, I think that would probably get him motivated. And obviously the opportunities here, right? To carve out a role in this pass rush. I mean, I wouldn't want to give up much, anything above a 5th round pick, but I think Ojulari, I mean, desperate times, right? I think this would be a good buy low situation.
16 sacks in 35 games is not that bad.
No, it's
That's
not at
decent production.
It's only 24 years old, had 2.5 last year, 5.5 the year before. His best season was his rookie season, 8 sacks. That happened to come, gentlemen, for a different defensive coordinator and a different scheme. So maybe it's a scheme fit, but again, like I don't know why teams, if you've got guys that can contribute,
right,
why you would trade him. It's not like QB where there's only one starting spot, or maybe even like offensive line, but like you need multiple pass rushers on your team. So that's one.
Right. The most I looked into Azeez Ojulari was in the draft process back when he's coming out of Georgia, and I think he was coming off of an injury. Is that right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got his brother who's was injured last season, and then Azeez who's faced his own injuries. Like, you hope that that's something that doesn't reoccur, but you're looking at, as Damon pointed out, it's decent production in 35 games. Why not?
Let's talk about another former draft pick. This one, a top 10 that our audience knows well enough because we covered him last year during the draft process. Our boy Tyree Wilson, 24 as well, 6'6", 275. He's under contract a little bit longer. He was in the same draft class as Paris Johnson Jr., has one NFL season in the books. Supposedly fallen out of favor, 3.5 sacks, 11 pressures for a Raider team that has done everything to basically ignore him. They've added Christian Wilkins. They've got Max Crosby. They've flushed the position, and it looks like everybody is in unison saying he needs to be traded. People are saying bust, hell no in the comments, giving Isaiah Simmons vibes. I disagree. I think he's a natural pass rusher, and the Cardinals, this regime, this is not the Keim regime. This regime with Ossenfort and Jonathan Gannon, they liked Tyree Wilson pre-draft. So again, like, you get him for a 4th round pick. I don't know if the Raiders would do that. I'm making the call. I'm saying, give me a guy who can play inside, who can play outside, that's got long arms, athletic as hell. Let's try to mold something out of this young man, and he needs a fresh start, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, before I viewed him more as like a Darius Robinson, right? And that was my biggest sticking point with what he wouldn't be able to come in and get snaps. With D-Rob potentially being on the shelf, I'm 4th round pick, no. But maybe later than
For a
that.
guy who's just a 1st round pick, you wouldn't trade for him?
No, I mean, I just don't know what his upside, like how much upside he truly has. And I think that the questions of like his commitment to playing football, like they need to vet that. And if they feel like if he can come in here and with a change of scenery in just a season's time in Vegas, playing for a defensive coach, I don't know, like there's a lot of red flags surrounding this guy. So it's not as easy as just like, hey, he's available, let's just do it.
Right. You got to vet, does he love football? But again, 2 pass rushers that could very well be on the move. We'll see the status here. Tyree Wilson, to me, I don't know how, even if it's a new regime, you can move off a player that you just took in the top 10.
Yeah.
I think you got to try to salvage it.
The 2 teams we're talking about are bad organizations. So, I mean, I think that's why people are like, well, they're just trying to, continue this never-ending vicious circle of drafting players, them not hitting in their respective organizations, and then they go out and they like find success elsewhere.
Johnny, you mentioned that you have to vet if Tyree Wilson loves football. And I think that's actually probably a positive of Azeez Ojulari, right? Is you have connections to him already.
Mm-hmm.
It'd probably be pretty easy to figure out if he loves football and if he's the type of guy you want in the organization. I really like that move. I think that would be a good, solid pickup.
It's better than especially with what they're looking for. It's a better fit than I think
24 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. Again, with a free agent penny, he's not a starter. I think maybe a fifth or a 6th round pick, and you try to have him come in and help out. And I think it's a coup that it's BJ Ojulari's brother as well. So we're gonna keep tabs on these kind of players here the next 24 hours. We have an update. Here is what's going on with my order processing via NFL Europe. Damon's got that. So that's what it looks like. The custom text, Harrison Jr. 18 expected between September 12th through the 19th. But again, the 18 is gone on there. It says 00 Arizona Cardinal Nike alternative game jersey custom men's. So here's what I expect. I think it will probably be canceled here. And this is maybe an issue for the site. But you can, like me, roll the dice. I'll keep everybody posted as it relates to my order.
And just based off of what I've witnessed here, I would caution you for doing what my host has done until maybe it gets out of the processing and maybe into the it's shipped part of this.
You don't trust the NFL Europe the day that an article drops about lawsuits with the player? You don't think that's wise?
I'm thinking there's some sort of like workaround in being that it's a lawsuit in the US versus Europe where you can do a custom jersey there.
Do you think it's like not only custom, but is it like knockoff? Is the Cardinals head, the bird, going to be like upside down or something on it? Or like it's going to be the wrong shade of red? I think
I'm pretty sure that's Fanatics.
Okay. Tony V, something's going on. I think everybody's probably just better off going to gophnx.com.
Look out, but it does, you do, and you play this is a authentic role that you play as the fan. Johnny Pom Pom's over here. As soon as like you saw an opportunity, you leapt at it without hesitation. Like it could be the biggest like just fraud Ponzi scheme of all time, and you were just like, here's my credit card details. Here's $120.
There's nothing I won't do for this community in this show. And I think I've proven that today, and every day we do this show. This isn't a farce. We're not putting on a charade here. We're our authentic self. And if you need my Desert Financial credit card, which by the way has a big red bird on it, you know what to do. Perfect marriage.
You were willing to go like Nicolas Cage, steal the Declaration of Independence and send it back to the UK and say, you know what, it's worth it to me. I need that precious MHJ jersey. I need to be able to wear it like tomorrow.
We got a lot of problems. I'll keep everybody posted. Processing does not mean shipped. But we will hold the line nonetheless. Nobody can say I don't love MHJ when I'm we're struggling here on the NFL Europe.
That's what it is, Damon. That's why he did it.
He wants to get back on the bandwagon. I get it.
He wanted to be first just so he could maybe
high IQ move.
Yep, he wanted to get back in the good graces of the HTL community.
We got almost 1,600 people watching, by the way. Everybody pick up. We're going to read some super chats. Maserati Marv T right now. You don't have to get this from, Timbuktu or NFL Europe. You can get it right now. Go PHNX.com. This is the alternative. This is the safe alternative to the
sure thing.
Jersey. Yes, very much so. I rep all these, as does my co-host, as does my producer. The one in the middle is about the freshest tee you can get. I kid you not. I get compliments on it every time I wear it. Shop it right now. We got 1,600 people. I'm telling you right now, they're going fast. The material is fantastic. Pick up a free one right now. Become a diehard. Go PHNX.com. We've got a member Discord that's popping off. We got events coming up. We've got, of course, our fantasy football event this Thursday for free at Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Rep your PHNX Cardinal gear. Now's the time to load up. You may not be able to buy an 18 jersey, or maybe you can. Just could take a while. But shop the 18 collection right now with us at gophnx.com. PHNXlocker.com, Bo.
True man and the people, Johnny Venerable. And if you want to join us for another elite draft party, that is this Thursday. We're going to be drafting our fantasy football league, hanging out Gila River Resorts and Casinos. Also, we've got our tailgate. Like, I'm getting more and more intel, Johnny, on this. Our tailgates and our post-game shows.
Ooh.
I guess every post-game show, we're going to give away something from our friends over at Pit Boss Grill. Whether it's a griddle, smokeless fire pit, grill, we're going to have something to give away, and you can win it. Compared to most things you can win, the odds are pretty stacked against you. But if you're part of this community, it's an intimate community. It's big, but it's not that big. The chances of you participating and coming away with something really nice from Pit Boss is pretty good.
Any word on whether or not I will be getting anything for free?
No.
Okay. Got it. Doc XD 499 super chat. You guys think they might not value QB as much because they believe they can just run the hell out of the ball anyway? I mean, I think they tried that in Cleveland last year, and granted, the roster was not good at all, and Cleveland had the best defense in the NFL, but I would think less of them if they thought that. If they thought they could just, hey, we could put Joe Schmo at backup QB, we're going to run the ball 60 times. Awesome. But at some point, you got to make plays. And I think you got to have a quarterback that can move a little bit. That's why Ritter intrigued them. So it's unfortunate.
I think obviously the biggest priority is getting Kyler Murray back in the fold and playing in the best position to be successful as your starting quarterback. But then, so if you have that in place, obviously you want to focus on surrounding him, complement him, and also what the direction of this organization is trying to draft and develop a sustainable, consistent winner. And, throwing lots of cap dollars early on at the backup quarterback position doesn't help you just build the roster in its entirety. So I think, the edge position, the opportunity to improve at that position hasn't truly presented itself and taken out all the heavy lifting that goes into it. So you're just seeing a team trying to navigate a tough league. And obviously you've got to be strong at that position beyond your starter. It's just not that easy.
Libertarian Sasquatch 499. I don't know. I'm high on the Cardinals this year, but preseason did scare me a little. It felt so heartless, soulless. It felt we won 4 games the last 2 years. I think this is a very real take for Cardinal fans. That's why I'm with you, Sasquatch. You can't tell me, oh, we're going to just flip a switch here. I mean, that is a really disheartening preseason. If you're Sean McVay, you can do whatever the hell you want in the preseason. You got Super Bowl appearance. You've got division titles. You're, boy genius head coach. I love Jonathan Gannon, but it's a tough sell. I'm sure he knows this. Hey, people are going to push back because we're not playing anybody, and they want to see hope, and they want to see progress, and they can't see it every day at practice. That's why it's important to get the opinion of my co-host here, who is at practice every day, but you're only given so much time, 20 or 30 minutes. Cardinal fans want to see real tangible proof that this team is going to come out and be efficient this year. Because I think on the flip side, they've seen plenty of preseasons where preseasons where like, Kevin Cobb's out there and John Skelton, and it's looked bad and it's translated to the regular season. So they don't want to have the reality set in, September, October.
But the same as it's looked bad, it's looked good, and it's told you some lies as well. Like I remember Max Hall going in there and tearing up the preseason world, and people are like, "Oh my god, Max Hall, is this like? Did they get an undrafted free agent at BYU like that could maybe play down the line?" And like, hey, no, can't, doesn't, he can't. So there's two sides of it. So I mean, we were talking about DTR last year. He was a monster in the preseason. Then came the regular season, he just couldn't play. So. And we'll see if that turns out to be true with a lot of like the top preseason performers this year. What's reality look like for Bo Nix, or you look at some of these young quarterbacks. Teams think that they can develop them, and then next thing you know, a former third-round pick or third overall pick's throwing 5 interceptions in a preseason game like Trey Lance did. So, and Dallas is like, well, shit, we just burned a pick. And bringing him over from San Francisco.
They just basically were like, hey, you're going to go and just play all the quarters of the preseason and put up ridiculous. People were putting up ridiculous stats like he leads the preseason in passing and rushing. And it's just like, what are we doing here? He also can't stop.
People really do that?
Yeah, yeah. People are like, I don't know what this means, but and it's like, it means Trey Lance is bad at football if you watch him with your eyes. Like stats are one thing. Watch the player with your eyes. PR Mac, $5. Why hasn't Isaiah Jones been on the show to discuss his accountability for mistakes? That should be a PHNX exclusive. Bidwell, make the call. I'm not sure who he's referring to. Isaiah Jones? Zay Jones? Oh, maybe Zay Jones. I don't know if the Cardinals and Michael Bidwell would offer Zay Jones up to the show. Here's what I will say. Zay Jones took the time to meet with myself and Bo Brack and Craig Morgan in the locker room for 25 minutes one day. And by all accounts, the Cardinals are happy that they brought him in, but he is being held accountable by the NFL for his actions. And I fully support the NFL on that.
Yeah. Pajaro 3, $2 super chat. Thank you, Pajaro. Always appreciate you chiming in. Cowing in Winnington, balling for San Francisco and the Rams bugs you. Former U of A standout Jacob Cowing, drafted by the Niners this offseason, and Whittington, who was a 5th-round pick from the Rams. Did they find another, piece in their passing attack, late in the draft? Preseason showed that, he can make some plays, but he's going to be behind Cooper, and Puka returned to practice today too, which is a good sign for them, but not the NFC West.
Not mentioned in that super chat, the 49ers also took Ricky Pearsall, who was labeled as a pre-draft bust by one of these co-hosts and has not participated up until today in training camp.
He did return today. Yep.
So just keep.
Did you see that Ricky Pearsall returned today? Are you excited about that?
Keeping receipts here on the show. Like this video. Here's what's going to happen. Emergency pods are going to be happening here in the next 24 hours. The Arizona Cardinals, should they make any moves, this is where you need to be. Jersey Gate with Marvin Harrison Jr. going to get updates with that as well. But it's imperative. You leave a like on this video. You subscribe to PHNX Sports here on YouTube. I know we got some peeps on Twitter. That's great. Jump on over. Use the link, right? You're on PHNX Cardinals right now. Come over to YouTube. Drop a comment. Drop a like. Leave a like. And, of course, subscribe because it helps the show. And then the number one thing I want everybody to do, grab their mobile phone, your smart device. Go to wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, whatever. Type in PHNX Cardinals, hit that follow button. We drop audio-only podcasts on the reg. If you're so inclined, leave your boys 5-star review because this is your premier Arizona Cardinal podcast, and we are just buckling up for the rigors of this 17-game season, which I hope will be a promising one, Bo Brack.
No doubt about it. For Johnny Venerable, award-winning producer, Damon, Dawg. Oh, we're keeping it going here. George Stice, $1.99.
Look at that avatar.
That's so nice of him for Johnny to help pay Johnny's bail. There he is in an orange prison jumpsuit after he crossed.
I will represent myself.
The big drink to UK to purchase his MHJ jersey. It's processing right now, and he's going to be processing in a United Kingdom prison soon.
Why is my social security number in the chat suddenly now? That's weird.
All right, officially for Johnny Venerable and award-winning producer Damon Dawg, and all of you and all your super chats and everybody that watches and listens. How about my guy Damien that helped change my oil today? Big fan of the show. It's nice meeting you. Thanks for watching and listening. We will talk to you tomorrow on PHNX Cardinals. See you then.
We all silly like the mayor.